Okay, we've talked about several different styles of management or leadership. Here's a management leadership philosophy called servant leadership by Greenleaf. It focuses on increased service to others rather than oneself. When I look at an operation, I really admire a manager who's out there helping and supporting the employees. I don't really admire the one that's hiding somewhere. I think the ultimate thing is to see an operation and not know who the manager is. So here, it's not just about the employees working for the boss, it's the boss working to support the employees. Increased service to others rather than oneself. So the manager has to think about all the different ways that they can help the employee get the job done. The result of this is the followers become wiser, healthier, more autonomous, and more likely to become leaders themselves. Now just look at that. The job is for the followers, the employees, to become wiser. The manager is trying to, or leader, the goal is to improve everyone. And if you can think of all the toxic work environments that there are out there and the effect that that has on people's mental health and physical health, that's not good. And in this case, we want healthier employees. It just makes sense. And they also become trained and more self-managed, so they can become leaders themselves. So here are some of the things. I think I've got 9 out of the 10 things that a servant leader does. Listening, identify and clarify needs or desires of the group. Well, we do have a vision, we do have a mission, we do need to get things done, but most managers and management styles don't really take into consideration the needs and desires of the group. We need to get from point A to point B, but in the meantime, what are the needs to better serve the employees, and what desires do the employees have? Are they on track, and do they, maybe they have a different way of seeing how to get to point B. Then we have empathy. I think this is rare around town. Caring about others' feelings and emotions. The servant leader cares about how the employees feel and if they're in a good state of mind. I would say that the vast majority of managers around town could care less if people are happy or not, or if their self-esteem is high or low. Another thing we have here is healing. Make others whole in the face of failure and suffering. In the workplace, there's going to be mistakes. Might even be accidents. We put people up to challenges and they don't work out like we hoped. And this puts the employee in a situation of having low self-esteem and low self-efficacy. So the servant leader make others whole in the face of failure or suffering. The toxic manager would make the employee feel worse, write them up, do all the paperwork and all of that stuff. Here, the job is to get the person fixed so we can get the job done. Now, I want to make another point here, because oftentimes we have incoming employees who have been abused or mistreated. And I think this is a key point right here, that when we have employees coming in with bad work experiences, they're like a stray dog that may have been mistreated or abused, and now we have to build back the trust and heal the people, heal the employee, so they're able to to wholeheartedly pursue the mission of the company. The incoming, always think about that. Where did the employee come from, and what might they need to get back that trust and faith in an organization? Persuasion. We've talked about the other management styles and being directive. We've also talked about French and Raven's 5 sources of power, and positional authority was one of those. Here, the servant leader does not rely on position authority. They want to rely on persuasion, painting a picture of the future and getting people on board so they're willing and wanting to be productive. So, directive style, no. Supportive, yes. Positional authority, no. Referent. We go back here. We're going back again to referent power and power of persuasion. Getting people inspired and excited about something. Stewardship. It's not just a manager of the finances and, you know, getting the job done and all of that, whatever it takes to make the bottom line fatter. Here, the servant leader is seen as a caretaker of the people. Just imagine that. Most managers can't even get there. Caretakers of people. No, I'm the master of people. No, it's caretaker of people. And this is a real organic way of getting a mission accomplished. Caretakers of the people and the resources. That means you have to maintain the people. Going back up here to get people whole, maintain the resources, take care of your equipment, and take care of your people. In fact, most operations would take more care of their vehicles than they would their people. Commitment. The servant leader is committed to the growth of people, personal, professional, and spiritual. However you want to define spiritual. You don't see this. See, this personal is outside. But it correlates with what Deming says, where we need growing people, people who are learning and becoming more and more educated and advanced thinkers, and that helps the organization in one way or another. Build community. Instead of just focusing on the company and the financial performance of the company, the servant leader wants to create a community within the organization. Now this goes back to Mary Parker Follett. And outside of the organization. So we have not only our goals, but we have to think about society and what makes society better. Foresight for the future outcomes of our efforts. To be a visionary, really, which this is kind of tied together. Being able to also portray that picture that we're trying to paint and the end that we're trying to get to. Vision, having a short-term vision and a long-term vision. Now, a lot of managers can't get past Tuesday because there's so many fires to put out. But when we have caring, and this goes back to Hawthorne, right? We have a manager who cares for people, wants them to be wise, would never jeopardize their health. They want them to become more autonomous, empowered, self-managed, but not self-led yet. The servant leader has time to think about this long-term and think about the future outcomes of our efforts, because they're not constantly taking care of the little problems. So here is basically another management tone, and think about this. Go through this video one more time and think about yourself as a business owner. How would you approach your employees? What would your philosophy be towards them? What do you see? What characteristics of the servant leader do you see in your workplace? And what would you like to see in your workplace? Servant Leadership by Greenleaf. It's a pretty cool concept.